the new old stock front brake cable. So I would say as easy as that, but it's not. And I think that's very important. This is a nice design compared to the stock one. I am in an old cow shed. Let's take a look at the carburetor and see if we can get that fitted. So the mudguard is on. Bearings are in. Now I've just got to get it in the frame. So with the front mudguard fitted and just lightly placed the headlight cowl on, it is now starting to resemble a scooter once again. Now, with regards of this, if you can just see here where the mirror would screw in, it just sits slightly proud. So where I filled in this hole, I'm just going to have to trim that ever so slightly. I'll probably take off about 5mm, and it'll allow this just to sit flush, and then the two holes here will line up. So I'll get on and I'll do that, and there you go. Easy as that. So I'm just going to file this smooth, get rid of all the rough edges, and that will be that, ready for the panel to fit, hopefully nice and snug. So, I think what I'm going to do now, because it is a bit of a fiddle, I'm going to feed the speedo cable and the front brake cable. You've got to feed it through the centre here, all the way down the tube. And there's this little hook here. It's like a cable tidy. There's one just up here on the inside of the mudguard. So it might be a little bit fiddly trying to feed it through, but that's what I'm going to do next, I think. So, the new old stock front brake cable. Let's just hope it's the same as this. Because unfortunately, one of the fellow Gensuki members, Gianni, has not had much luck, unfortunately, with regards of brake cables. He's ordered one, or maybe even a couple now, and they're wrong. So I think it's here. Here, where it mounts. Admittedly, I don't think the ones he's purchased are genuine Honda. Whereas this is a genuine cable, and as far as I'm aware, this is also the original genuine front brake cable. So I shouldn't have an issue. As you can see, it's exactly the same. I will have to reuse this nut and this here. You can see where the rubber's just really just disintegrated. This is the new one. All of this matches exactly the same. Same with the coating. One thing I have noticed is the original one comes with this like plastic fitting. I'm not quite sure how to remove that, whereas the new one doesn't. So I'm not sure if I definitely need that. I assume it just kind of fills up the space within the brake lever, but I'll have a look. If I can get it off, I'll reuse it. If not, I'll just see if I can get away with putting this in as is. You can just see there, I've just cut a little slit in it, and that allowed me to remove it off the old cable and slide it on the new one. And what I will do is I'll probably just dab a little bit of glue just so it holds as one. I don't think it will go anywhere once it's in the lever. But yeah, I'll add a bit of glue, and that's that. So just giving these bits a clean, we can now get these onto the new cable. So unfortunately, as of yet, I have been unable to source a new old stock throttle cable. But this one is in pretty good nick, to be fair. And it does turn freely. So yeah, we'll give this one a clean up and yeah, we'll reuse this one. The cable itself is easily removed from the casing. So what I'll do is I'll do that. I'll inspect the cable, give it a clean, maybe use a bit of lubricant, and we'll refit it. There you go. So there's the cable. There's the outer casing. So yeah, on first glance, it looks alright. So I might spray a little bit of penetrating fluid just down here, just to clean it out if there is any debris or just any old bit of dirt or anything really. Do the same, give this a good wipe over with some oil, refit it, and to be fair, that's actually saved me quite a lot of money in finding a new replacement. That moves much better. So yeah, we've serviced the speedo cable. Okay, so with these bits facing up, we now need to feed this end and this end of the cables down through the head tube. Now a little trick, just put a little bit of tape, otherwise the cable will want to keep dropping through. So, got the scooter back on my little makeshift stand. With regards of feeding through both cables, what I find is going to be easier is the brake cable. The coating of the cable is thinner where it will go into the lever. So because this is quite tight to feed both cables through, I'm going to feed the brake cable up from the bottom and up. And hopefully, if I then feed the speedo cable down on the thinner part of the cable, they should fit well. It will be snug, because I remember removing them was quite snug. You can see where we need to go. But yeah, I'll give it a go and I'll see how I get on. There you go, guys. That was a little bit easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be a bit of a nightmare, to be fair, but it was all right. So when I said there's a little type of prong or fork, just like this one, you need to feed the cables through. You can see it just there. So it comes through the forks that way. Then you want to attach it to this. And I think that's very important, because otherwise the wheel will actually scrub away at the cable. And I'm almost hoping that because we've lowered this, I'm hoping it still doesn't scrub. So I'll have to double check that. And I'll try and get them to maybe fit a little bit higher, a little bit neater. But obviously you don't want to kink the cables. But it then comes down the front of the forks, through this one. And then these will attach to the front hub of the front wheel, which obviously one will have the speedo attachment and the other for the brake. So I've removed the original needle and float and fit the Molossi one with the spring and the cap. It was a little bit of a faff, so I didn't film it, you can just see the end of the cable in there. Just a little trick is to remove the throttle side just from there, and that will allow you all the excess that's required to get it fitted. But now to refit this to the throttle, I'm now going to need to compress all this together because I now need this excess cable to help me reattach this end. So I might just use a cable tie or something and see if it will just hold it all in place just whilst I get this back on. And there it is, all refitted. So I would say as easy as that, but it's not. It's a bit fiddly. Need to take a little bit of time with it. But once it's in, it's in. And that is literally ready to go onto the carb once the engine's installed. So yeah, brake cables are done, front and rear. Throttle cable is done. So I'm not quite sure, because I'm yet to paint this. I'm not quite sure if I can fit this, or does the front or rear part, which also I'm yet to paint, I can't quite remember if that needs to be fitted first. Let me have a look through my videos, and I'll just do the reverse. All the interior panels, as I'm calling them, are now prepped and in plastic primer. This came out quite nice. It's not absolutely perfect, but it is definitely a world away from what it once was. So I'm happy. This took quite a bit of time to prep. I hope that the primer does adhere to it, because I did take some time to scotch it. It's got on well. All of these panels aren't absolutely mint. There'll be slight imperfections in it, but admittedly, I am in an old cow shed and using rattle cans, so it won't be a professional finish. The front panel, this has now had around 3 coats. It's looking nice. Once again, it's had a lot of work, but still isn't absolutely mint. But I'm really happy with the outcome. It's come a long way. So with this, I'll probably add 1 more coat, and then I'll go on to the lacquer. Right then guys, so whilst we're waiting for that to dry off before adding around about 3 or 4 coats of the clear lacquer, let's take a look at the carburettor and see if we can get that fitted. Okay, so here we are. You can see that I've fitted the air filter. This is a 101 octane air filter purchased from Racing Planet. I did have to do a little bit of work on the O-ring because it was a bit small for this carb. I just took a little bit off with a Dremel. But yeah, it looks alright. So, let's have a look at the original one and get this one fitted. So here we have the original. We will retain the manifold. This is why I restored it. All we need to do is from this point on is remove this. We will lose the function of the automatic choke, as the new one, the Molossi one, comes with a cable and a little lever, but that's not a problem. So yeah, let's just undo that one and this one, and we can get that off. So it's just an 8mm socket, guys, for these two. There you go. I'm not quite sure if I need to reuse this one, or the kit comes with one, but I'll leave that there just in case. Okay, so we won't need to reuse it, because what we have here is a gasket and the manifold adapter. So this will just simply fit onto the original manifold. like that. So supplied with the kit, you get some countersink bolts. Got a longer one here and a shorter one there, and the nuts and washers. Now this one will need to be cut down. This one is a good length. You can see just here, one slightly longer than the other. They've gone a little bit excessive. This one should be good once we've got this on. But yeah, I'll just I'll mock it up and then I'll cut this to length. I'll just cut off the excess. Okay, so I've just marked it there. So I'll now take that off and I'll cut it down. There you go, guys. All done. Now for the carb, I've just loosened this clamp off a little bit. There's a little plastic sleeve inside. We just need to slide it over onto the manifold. Okay, there you go, guys. Just to tighten this up. One carburetor. It's always nice bolting on brand new parts, nice shiny parts. And speaking of shiny bits, I've decided that I wanted the Molossi cylinder head, so I've ordered it. It should have been here today, but I think it's going to now come tomorrow. Comes with all the new bolts, and the reason I've done that is because it's got a bigger space underneath where the piston comes up, and it should eliminate something called knock. Now I don't know if that's to do with the spark plug. This one is shorter because it is the iridium. It has like a shorter tip instead of the slightly longer one which the standard NGK plug comes with. So yeah, that'll look nice. So I'll bolt that on as soon as I get it. But yeah, the carb is on. It's as simple as that. A couple of bolts, nip this up. This is ready to install. I need to fit the cable, the choke cable. It's the choke lever. It's even got choke written on it. It's got two holes, I'm not quite sure why. I assume this just unscrews, which it does. Okay, so that will be the channel for, yeah, there are two. I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, that looks like the channel for the cable. So that just simply screws on. We have a bracket or a clamp to mount it. And I think there was a bolt for that actually within this kit somewhere. Yeah, just there. An additional bracket to possibly help aid mount it somewhere. And two cables, one clearly longer than the other. And I can only imagine this is to help you decide, well, the position of this, I suppose. And you choose which cable suits the application. So what I might do, I might have a little play and see where this can be mounted. If not, I will ask some of the guys on the Gensuki group and just see where it is that they have placed it. So I wasn't going to bother, but I have made a start on polishing the casing. I just didn't quite like the aged look, and I don't really want to paint it. And I mean, you don't really see much of it, to be honest, but I thought, do you know what, I'll just give it a go. And I did a little area, and it's actually coming out really nice. So I've just gone over it, just with my drill, with a little brass rotating brush. And yeah, it has come out really nice. So I might continue. and then give it a little bit of a polish, and at least then it's a bit more presentable, because we've made an effort on doing everything else, and I just think it would be a shame to leave that as is. So yeah, it looks alright. So the front panel is now in its final coat of lacquer, so I'll let that dry overnight, and that is another panel done. Okay, so the cylinder head has arrived. And as always, they must lose so much money giving these stickers away. We've got more stickers. And what I might actually do at the end of this series is actually collect all the stickers that they've sent me and just see how many I actually have. Because it's getting a bit crazy now. But yeah, the cylinder head is here. So let's get it open. Crazy. So here we are then, guys. Really well machined. Doesn't weigh anything. It's a nice design compared to the stock one. So what do we have here? We have the new bolts and washers, and a new O-ring, which I assume sits just in that recess just there. I will have to find out the torque setting for these, but that is not a problem. So yeah, let's get it on. Okay, so I've already cracked these off. There is the iridium plug. I've already loosened these also. It is just a 10mm socket. And there you go. It's the new piston and cylinder head. So now just to fit the O-ring and get it on. There's the O-ring fitted. Easy enough. And that will just sit like that. So I have set this to 1.2, which is what it was recommended on the Malossi website. I'll post it just up here for you. So yeah, we want to do it in a diagonal orientation until it clicks. Once that is all nice and tight, I can put the spark plug back in, and I think we'll be ready to get it into the frame. Okay then, guys, so with that, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to have to end the video here for now. I did say in the previous video that I was really hoping to get this engine bolted to the frame and even possibly started, but I promise you that will happen in the next video. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to catch you in the next one.